Smith and MacArthur make some time for Cowboy Boys.
Welcome to Cowboy Boys Podcast 198. Return of Shayne again.
Return of Shayne. Every episode's going to be Return of Shayne for like months.
Yeah, we've returned.
Oh, it's true. I did return.
You've returned from your week-long trip, and your voice is all... You've lost your voice?
A little.
What'd you do?
I was yelling.
Did you Michael Douglas it?
Oh,
Did you?
no.
Did you?
I didn't go to the Laugh Factory this time.
That's Michael Richards.
Oh, whoops, my bad.
Michael Richards did not lose his voice. He lost his composure from screaming at a certain demographic.
Oh, my bad.
On stage. Michael Douglas claims to have gotten throat cancer from eating pussy.
What?
And the science does back him up.
I don't care. Bring it on.
Yeah, no man can't. It's like... I don't. It's funny that like the DJ Khaled's and the guys who don't like really straight black guys.
Yeah, I was gonna say
like,
I had a
pussy
friend
is gay.
I had a friend when I was younger literally tell me that eating pussy was sus, and I was like, all right, man, I truly couldn't even fucking begin to unpack what you think that is. Like, do you think eating pussy is like eating a man's ass? Is that the...
All right. that's where your penis goes into, and if you touch something that a penis has touched, that's like you sucking a dick. You know, like when you share a popsicle.
Yeah,
it's like kissing your friend.
Is it?
Yeah. If you suck a penis and then I also suck that penis, that's like me and you kiss through the law of whatever. It's some scientific. No, anyways, you lost your voice because
I did lose my voice, dude. Wait. What if buttholes had as much flaps and stuff as vaginas? How fucked up would that be?
Mine does.
Whoa.
You know what? If they did, I would be gay.
Oh my God, dude. Imagine if your ass had a clit. That'd be so cool. Wait, would it be the back towards your tailbone?
Men
no,
do.
No.
That's what
That's a different thing.
Hey, we need to tone this down. This is the first 2 minutes of the podcast.
Okay, well, firstly, but you have to answer my question. Would the ass clit be towards your balls or towards the small of your back?
I think it would be the upper back because
I think so too.
It'd just be flipped around,
dude. I could be like a girl and sit on a washing machine and be like,
We need to. After episode 200, we got to clean up our act.
What happened in episode 200?
I don't know. It feels like a good mile marker where we're like, we've been demonetized every single the last 20 video, and I'm like, we just got to keep it clean for the first 5 minutes. That's my bad, though. I brought that up with my allegations of you losing your voice.
You really did. I am losing my voice a little, but
how'd you lose your voice?
I did 6 hours of comedy in a weekend, and then I talked a ton. I did podcasts.
No, podcasting.
Yeah.
How long did you podcast for?
3.5 hours.
Yes, meaning you did 3.5 different podcasts.
Technically, but it was one podcast.
Oh, you did one episode for 3.5 hours.
Yep.
And you only give the people 1 hour here.
Yeah, dude.
And you gave someone else that isn't me.
Yeah.
An extra 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
You lasted another 2.5 hours longer.
What can I say?
Yeah, what can you say? Defend yourself.
They're sexy.
I'm saying you're your bad friend.
No.
That you won't podcast longer than...
It was an interview style podcast. So if you asked me
I am asking you questions. Where were you this week? Why do you smell like a different podcaster? Why are you answering your phone calls? What are you doing up this late?
You know this is an open podcast relationship.
It is.
Except for I'm seeing other podcasts and you aren't. I'm the woman.
Yeah, but I don't care.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. True. You're the guy who stays at home. Everyone's like, he's getting cucked, and you're like, I don't fucking care. It's single or let this woman suck my dick sometimes.
You did a podcast for 3.5 hours.
I did. It was really fun.
Oh. Are you trying to insinuate this one isn't?
No, this one's fun too.
Is this one more?
I do this one too.
Whose podcast did you have more fun on?
How many hours of this podcast? I've literally done like 400 hours of this podcast.
I'd also say sometimes it isn't fun doing this podcast.
Sometimes it's not.
Most of the time it's really fun, but sometimes I'm like, ooh, I wish you were dead.
Yeah, definitely. Well, listen, this is a long-term relationship. That's how it works.
That is how that works.
So sometimes it's rough, sometimes you need to get we need to bring a third in. Sometimes we double team a third.
What if we should get more guests?
We should. But I'm the one who has to book them because one of us
doesn't have a career,
is severely autistic and is off-putting to people.
I'll get guests.
I want you to get, dude.
Here's the problem.
I would love for you to bring just the guy you met at the grocery store over.
Yeah. If I bring guests over, you won't like them. I can dial back myself.
What? Guest?
I can't dial back guests I would bring.
Oh yeah. What guests would you bring?
I don't know.
Do you think you could get?
Other open mic comedians.
Yeah, you definitely could do that. I'm down to have anyone on the podcast ever, as long as they're fun and they don't say the N-word.
I don't care.
Or are evil.
Well, I would have a black guy say the N-word as much as he want, or a Puerto Rican guy.
I immediately
or a cool girl from the Bronx. A white girl from the Bronx. She's allowed to say it.
They are. They do, and they are. Apparently, I don't make the rules, and I have nothing to do with it. But they do say it a lot.
Why is that the first thing? Is that why was that your first rule?
I don't know, because it was just something I wouldn't want. I was like, what wouldn't I want someone to do on the podcast? And that was the first thing I thought of. I was like, oh yeah, I genuinely would be very unhappy if that happened.
Why?
I don't know.
You could just bleep it or not release the episode.
Oh, dude, there it is. You discovered it. My brain's lazy, and I'm like, oh, I'd have to do a whole nother episode.
I'm like, why is that such a problem?
It is. I don't know. I don't want some white guy coming on here and saying it, and then I have to do a whole thing, and now I'm talking about why he said it, and what are you doing? I don't know.
I'm trying to think of my nightmare guest would be probably my mom.
Oh fuck, dude, that's also my nightmare guest.
Both of our moms, and then they
would cancel each other out if they were here at the same time, though.
You think?
Yeah.
I don't think they would.
We would get them to talk to each other. I would be like, go surreal, and then our moms would start talking.
You would. Oh, you would. Yeah.
I would facilitate it. I would just interview them in a way that kept them from talking about us. I would make it about them, and they're both insane, so they would both be really stoked to talk about it.
My mom likes to bring everything back to me.
Oh, okay. I guess my mom's maybe better than yours in some ways.
No, mine is, because she brings it all back to me. Anyways. So what else have you been up to?
Nothing, dude. I went to I worked a bunch. I surfed. I read Warhammer book.
You're not allowed to. You're not allowed to say what work you were doing, who you were hanging out with.
Okay? Here I don't know
if we're allowed to.
You want to?
I don't know if you signed a what are those called?
An NDA.
An NDA? I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I signed
you posted about it on Instagram. We don't have to talk about it.
I opened for Jay Leno. What do you want to know?
Whoa! Your podcast, you're doing 3.5 hour podcasts with other strange men. You're opening for Jay Leno.
I am.
Where'd you open for him at?
Flappers Comedy Club in Burbank, California, dude. Beautiful Burbank, California.
And that's I got tagged in a bunch of posts. They're like, because every time you go out, people are like, "Where's Mac?"
Yeah.
And this time, I have a legitimate reason why I wasn't there. I'm not allowed to be around Jay Leno for religious fatwa reasons. When I was 14 years old, I took a oath to Conan O'Brien.
Oh yeah.
That I would kill Jay Leno if I ever met or saw him. And so I was like, well, I can't go to this show. But have fun,
yeah.
Because if I accidentally bump into him, You're
honor bound.
I'm bound.
Once you unsheath the knife, you can't put it back till it's tasted blood.
Yeah, I'd be like, "Hey, Jay, I'm a big fan, but this is from Allah, not from me. This is for Conan." Yeah, I've never. Jay, that seems some. This is like. There's probably listeners who were not even born when this shit was going down.
Oh, 100%.
But that whole thing, and no one ever really talked about it. I'm like, it has to go deeper. It has to go up to the top. I feel like both their hands were tied by weird NBC executives.
100%. I think so too.
So that's why I think they're both just like, whatever.
Yeah.
But my hands are tied just like theirs are.
We're men of honor. Yeah. We are bound by rules, and those rules aren't always good or right.
But you got to do what you got to do.
But you got to do what you got to do. We live in a society.
So I'm like, Jay, I love you. I got to kill you. How How was did you do one or two shows?
With Jay?
Yeah.
One.
Just one?
Show. Just one show. One and done, dude. He did one.
He only did one.
Yeah.
Did you know?
Yeah. I knew a week before.
Oh, they just sent you.
Yeah, they told me. They're like, hey, do you want to open for Jay Leno? Whatever. He thinks you're funny. You have to be clean.
He requested you.
I think he just saw I was at the club and like I'm on the periphery.
Were you clean?
Yeah.
Squeaky?
Yeah.
Were you Mormon clean or regular clean?
I was cleaner than the lady who went before me. She's talking about sex.
Whoa.
She didn't swear or anything, but she said some sex stuff, and I was like, that's not clean. I'll show you what the fuck clean looks like.
I think I'll show you what the fuck clean. I do like that there is like... Because Mormon clean comedy is a whole nother level of squeaky clean.
Dude, you literally like when they gave us remember when we did that one open mic that was clean and they're like, you can't mention God.
You're not even allowed to mention him.
You can't even mention that he exists. You can't disparage your girlfriend or wife was one of them.
I don't remember any of these.
And it just said girlfriend or wife as if they assumed no woman would ever do the open mic, which is so funny. Or maybe they were like, yeah, talk shit on your husband. That's cool.
I think, man, yeah. Men could take it.
Yeah, we can. Dude, we already do.
Yeah.
I was going to say, every day you go online, there's like a million posts that are like, men when something, they're evil.
Hey,
it's like, all right, telling on yourself.
We can take it, and we will continue to
and we will continue to. Ladies, do whatever you want. Be mad at us. Post about it constantly. Fuck it. Who cares, bro? I'm still playing Warhammer and going surfing, and it's great.
How was Jay?
He's good.
He's good?
He's good. He's
been
not
doing it for-
funny.
he's
He's good. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm watching him and I'm like, oh, you're really good at comedy.
What do you mean? Is he? He's not. You're saying he's not, but is he just too old?
No.
Is he?
He's
He's been doing it for like 1,000 years.
He's a good comic. He's a good comic. He fucking has a good cadence. He has good premises. He has jokes.
New
he
jokes.
says the jokes. They are very new.
Because that's like a thing about him is he's super... I guess he's like since like the 90s he's been offline. He's been like an enigma since...
Yeah.
Because he did stand up even while doing the Tonight Show.
Yep. He writes constantly, I guess. A ton of his stuff was like brand spanking, like doing material about like now. Like right now, like I was like, oh, he wrote this like recently.
Can you don't do any of his jokes because I know how secretive he is. He doesn't put out specials. He doesn't do any. You have to pay to see him.
Here's the thing. Yeah, that's true. I think he just likes to do comedy, so he does it.
He's got comedy autism.
He's got comedy autism, which that's
bad problem to have unless it works.
Yeah. So
you know who else has comedy autism?
Who?
The most comedy autism? Dave Attell.
Yeah.
Where
1,000,000%.
where they're just physically incapable of not doing jokes.
Yeah, yeah. And also Dave Attell hasn't come out with a special despite being amazing and writing constantly for like what 10 years or something.
So Jay is he's a comedy autist. Who else would have that? Where it's not even about the business. They don't care about the business. They don't care about the art.
Yes.
Because then you have those douchebag comics who are like, oh, the craft. That it's like if anyone ever talks about the craft of comedy, punch them in the face.
Find a hammer.
That's
leave
not
the room. Go to the junk drawer. Find a hammer. Come back. You know what to do.
A real comic will not. They'll just be.
It's not that serious, dude. It's funny or it's not.
I'm gonna say you're going to hate. You're gonna be annoyed with like, Jesus, come on, man. This is my funeral right now. I'm dying.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you please say something nice?
Yeah, comics are funny, end of story. It's not about anything else. It's just about having a good time and being funny.
The funny ones are.
The funny ones are. Well, so here's the thing.
Okay.
The last 2 years of comedy, I would even say maybe 3 years of comedy in the broader spectrum of like me watching comedy live, me seeing up and coming comics, me watching specials on Netflix and YouTube, because I do love to watch comedy. I like stand-up. I like sketches. I like comedy. It is fucking bad.
You're watching the wrong stuff.
I know. Well, no, I've seen a lot of good stuff.
Oh, okay.
I have seen a lot of good stuff. I mean, some of the best specials I've ever seen in my life came out recently. The Earthquake special was fucking world-endingly good.
That was like
Nate Bargatze came out with a good one.
That was like 4 years ago.
No, was it? Oh, come on, man. Jesus. But then you've got like Chappelle bombing. You've got, or not bombing, but for me, he is. And then like, you've got a million other young comics who don't do jokes. They're like, oh, they do clapter, and they're not even good at it. It's fucking crazy, dude. Clapter.
Like, give it up for.
It's fucking trans people are real and deserve rights. I look how silly I look. I don't know how to fucking. And then everyone's like, yeah, and it's like, yeah, they do. I don't need you to say that to me.
That's not a joke.
Yeah.
That's a fact I agree with.
Yes, it's just like, dude, you're just saying a thing that is obvious, especially to the audience you're performing for. Go to Texas and say that.
But Leno has been doing jokes forever.
So Jeno has.
So he's like, you hear about this?
Yeah.
Trans people, they want rights. They already got them.
Yeah. You're better than most comics on YouTube right now.
What rights don't they have?
I
don't know. What is his? Is he like? Does he get political, or is he like a boomer, or is he
got a little political?
Oh.
He did some COVID stuff, and he made fun of Gavin Newsom
or
whatever,
I know that
governor
name.
of California.
Oh, okay.
He was like, have you seen this? Have you heard about this? Gavin Newsom got caught sucking a dick.
Have you seen these women with penises? I just want to suck them. They're so real women. I can't do I can't do Jay Leno.
Have you seen this? Have you heard about this? They made a new mask that lets you suck a dick. Like, I don't know, dude. It's fucking. Anyway, it's insane, dude. How
come trans women are sexier than normal women? What is the deal? I don't know.
One guy in the crowd. What is with that? Woo! I'm on Tinder. I get it.
That's just back to clapter. I'm like, that's not funny. That's real.
That's just real. That's just regular real. Trans women are fucking insanely hot. How are they getting so hot?
What do they put it in the water?
Dude, for real though, they're so hot. It's crazy.
All right, back down.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I got all worked up. So, I am talking shit on modern comedy. There's no jokes. There's like a fucking minute setup. There's barely any laughter. There's almost a tag, and then the punchline is like some fucking bullshit.
I've always said this. There's applause.
Yeah.
Then there's laughter when people like understand the concept of a joke.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, that was the setup. And this is where I, as the audience member, am participating with the show. And I know that to laugh right here. And then there's, and I've always used this show, the Joey Diaz was at Wise Guys, where you couldn't heckle him with a loaded gun shooting the air because he was killing the room. So people were scream laughing.
Yeah.
That's the laughter you should be going for instead of like, yes, I do. My boyfriend is a buffoon. Mm-hmm.
Do you know what someone told me recently? And I can't remember who they were, and I feel really bad because it's a really good insight.
My foreign parent does have a silly voice.
Dude, I've heard that joke fucking 20 times.
And then 5 years later, 6 months later, like, hey, I was wrong to do that in my career. I shouldn't have made fun. I shouldn't have done a Chinese voice for my parent. I'm a millionaire now, but you should not do that.
Just so
you are a bad person. I learn from my mistakes. And I'm a good person. You're a bad person right now for doing a voice of a foreigner who is your parent. I'm a good person because I've learned not to do that thing that I've already made $1 million from. Just so we're clear.
Dude, it's so fucked.
A story as old as time.
Also, if anyone who's watching this is wondering, every comic you see who's like, I'm an immigrant, and they're on Comedy Central or Don't Tell Comedy or any of these other things you see on YouTube or Netflix, their family's rich. They're not like some struggling immigrant. It's like, shut the fuck up. You're not oh, I'm an immigrant. It's like when white girls say they're non-binary so they can get clout.
Yeah,
every white girl's like, fuck, I gotta do something because people are.
What about this?
White girls don't get to be oppressed anymore. And then they go, I'm a they, them. I did it.
What if I do this? So my dad's non-binary now.
So.
And this is what he sounds like. Hey, I'm non-binary.
Dude, that's so funny.
And then 6 months later, I'm gonna have to apologize because I'm like, I was allowed to at the time. I know now. Now that I'm rich and famous, I'm not. I could make those jokes.
It's just so funny to be like, yeah, I'm an immigrant from India, and here's my perspective. And then meanwhile, their dad's a doctor and their mom's a lawyer, and they just like they have 9 houses.
Why'd you go with Indian?
Because I'm thinking of a specific person.
I'm thinking of 10 specific.
Yeah, I know,
comics.
dude.
I was
Anyway,
thinking of
I get
Russian.
so annoyed with that shit. I'm like, dude, there are real immigrants. There are people who actually immigrated, first generation, that are doing comedy that are incredibly funny, dude. Anyone who's a comic from Mexico, you can have their back. I'm trying to think of
I've seen Spanish comics, and I've only watched like comedy in Spanish.
Oh, that's weird.
They're
That's
like
weird.
20 years behind.
I get so mad at our peers, though. I just hate people who pretend like they're not rich. Be authentic. Just be like, I'm an immigrant, but my parents are rich. What a weird thing. I have privilege, but I'm also an immigrant in America, so I get to experience some weird little things, but also I get to eat like whatever I want, whenever I want, and I live in a nice apartment. I don't know.
I was talking about this with Mike and Diego, and I was coming up with who is the most famous normal guy. Like as a celebrity, like an actor or whatever, like who's a guy who was just a normal guy who then became famous?
It's Chris Pratt.
That's what I came to. Did we already talk about this on the podcast?
No.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, I looked up Ben Affleck and
Matt Damon.
Mm-hmm. Ben Affleck, his dad was like a poet and just writing and an alcoholic, and his mom was like some college professor. Matt Damon, because I thought those two guys I thought were the original like regular guy. No, their parents were already well off.
Mm-hmm.
Then I was like thinking about Jeff Bezos, because he was just his mom was dating some like another artist, and then she was like, oh, she had him like at 17, and then she had to like leave him and go back to her parents, and like Jeff Bezos worked at like a McDonald's at 16, but he was like he excelled at college and was like an autistic, like super smart guy. So he's not a normal guy.
He also got to go to college.
Sure.
I mean, if you're going to college, you got a leg up.
He did. He had a little bit of a leg up. Not as much as all the other billionaires.
Yeah.
So
good kudos to him and his fucking bald ass.
Well, his mom remarried a Latino guy.
Yeah,
and that's where Bezos comes from. He took his stepdad's name
that's
after
sick as fuck,
his original father's. He's like, yeah, fuck that guy. No, but yeah, it is Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt was like actually just a homeless guy.
Yeah, he lived in a van.
Well, he lived in a van in Hawaii.
Yeah, I was just going to say in Hawaii.
Even he's just like, yeah, but you're homeless in Hawaii, man. Imagine being homeless, and I'm like, fuck, I'm homeless in LA. This sucks. Oh, I hate being homeless here.
Supposedly, Chris Pratt, I don't know if this is true, but it seems real. He said it and someone else said it, so I'm like, I guess, I don't know. But he was in good shape in Hawaii. I guess he like surfs and shit, and he was like ripped in Hawaii. And then he moved to LA to act, but he wanted to be a comedic actor. To his credit, I don't think he did stand up. And yeah, good for him.
No.
If you're a comedic actor and you do stand up, fucking stop.
No. If you're a comedic actor and you're funny, keep doing whatever. There's a few people who are like actors who Steve Buscemi started as a comedian, and then he was like, "What? You're gonna pay me how much money to not?"
Oh yeah, I mean that's Jonah Hill or whatever. But like,
he did stand up.
Yeah.
What?
But like, you gotta be.
I didn't know that.
Listen, but they wanted to be stand-ups and then did the thing.
Yeah.
When an actor is like, my acting coach told me to start doing stand-up, they're not funny.
No, but here's the thing, because a lot of comics will be like, I've heard this take from a lot of comics. It's like, because it'll be like a failed reality star or like someone, and everyone always does stand-up. Like how it's kind of like being a DJ.
Yeah.
Paris Hilton is like, I'm a DJ now.
Oh, yeah.
Where people are like, well, my career's not doing so hot, so I'm going to default to comedian. Comics are always, Steve-O was a big one. Where comics were complaining about Steve-O because he's like, he's not a comic. He's selling out the club. He's taking spots. And so my argument was like, well, be funnier than Steve-O. Be so funny. But here's my thing. If someone offered me a bunch of money to be a DJ,
yeah,
I'm like, oh yeah, fuck it, I don't care.
Yeah, of course. Also,
you're paid to put butts in seats so they can sell drinks. There's no, as much as you want to be like, there's an art to the like, whatever.
Listen, there are certain things. I think the world is more complicated than black and white. I think gatekeeping is bad most of the time, but I think there's 10% of the time where gatekeeping is important and good.
Yeah, you should
comedy, surfing.
No, you should bully those people.
Yeah.
But they did sell the club, and the club employs you.
My thing is that
so
Yeah, well,
Be mean to that
here's my
person.
deal. Comedians think that just because you perform in a comedy club, you think you're a comedian. I don't think Steve-O and Stormy Daniels are like, yeah, I'm a stand-up now.
Stormy Daniels did stand up?
She did. She had a tour the year that she made fun of Trump, and all these female comics were like, you could give these dates to a real comic. And it's like, she's not, she doesn't think she's a stand-up. She's just capitalizing on her fame to make a bunch of money and call Trump's dick small.
Did she do clubs or did she do theaters?
She did real clubs.
That's
real
crazy.
comedy clubs. Like she did like the fucking Laughs R Us in Austin or what. Like she did real clubs. And a bunch of comics at the time. I remember because there were a bunch of female comics who were like, fuck this, give jobs to real comics, not her, whatever. And there was a bunch of other female comics who were like, oh, do we support women or not? What are you fucking doing?
No.
And I'm
Whoa,
like,
whoa.
and we get to be men and not care.
No. Women, it's not, women aren't supposed to support women because women hate women. Men are supposed to support women.
Oh, we're so bad at it.
No, not me.
Oh, yeah?
Not to the
When
woman.
was the last time you supported a female artist?
If I married a female artist, she would be the one person I support.
Nice.
I am a super simp for one woman only at a time, and that's whoever's OnlyFans I'm subscribed to.
Do you only, you're monogamous on OnlyFans?
I haven't been for months.
Oh, dude, you're polyamorous on
No,
OnlyFans?
I'm zero.
Ooh.
Bro, that's the thing. Back to your whole thing about fake, phony artists. I'm so poor right now. I'm gonna have to get back into stand up. I'm going from the bottom. Like shit. I need to do something.
When you hit rock bottom so hard that you go, I gotta do stand up to make money, that's brutal, dude.
I mean, I could get a normal job and then want to kill myself doing those.
Just get a part time.
Yeah, that's what I've.
Work 2 days a week.
Dude, the IRS hit me with a fucking
Why
letter.
did you claim any money to them?
I didn't. This is from years ago, and they're like, "Hey, we've been going through our books," and they sent me a letter from 2 years ago. I'm like, "What? I don't even. It was COVID back then. What are you talking about? You can't prove anything,
Dude, that's like how they were like, that I made money for the first time in my life, and the IRS had never asked me about it for like literally 13 years, and then randomly they were like, hey, remember when you were a criminal? Anyway, we assume you made a bunch of money and we want the taxes from the money. This is how much we want. And it was like an astronomical amount. Just so you guys know, the IRS literally was like, hey, we can actually tax you on money illegally made, and we're guessing this is how much you made, and they charged me a quarter of my total income of the year.
That's how they got. Wait, how'd they know your total income?
No, that's just like the amount.
Oh.
It just ended up being a quarter of what I made in a year, which
From,
isn't
like,
even
from
that
decades ago. That's how they got Al
It's
Capone.
fucking crazy.
They couldn't get Capone from
Yes.
any of his crimes, but they're like, hey, he's not paying taxes on his crimes, and that's how they got him.
No, that's crazy. I literally called my accountant because he quit. Or I didn't. We mutually separated.
Oh,
And then because I was gonna learn, because he didn't want to lie for me anymore. Well, no, because now I'm on the up and up. He was a bad guy. I forgot I'm on live on air.
Do I need to believe that?
No, it's fine. It's fine. No, we saved it. And so, because I tell the truth only to the IRS. I learned how to do my taxes so I can be an honest Nelly. And so,
Dude.
they charged me, and I called him like, is this even allowed? And he's like, yeah, dude, the IRS, if they think you made money illegally, they can tax you on illegally made money. So like if you're a drug dealer and they put you in prison, they'll also take like taxes for that. It's nuts.
That's why if I were doing anything illegal, I'd be like, oh, I'm so poor. I'd be posting. All my Instagram posts would be my pockets on turn with like a little fly coming out. Of
Dude,
like,
pimps are
damn.
so stupid. If I was a pimp, I wouldn't have all that shit. I'd have a bindle.
Yeah.
I'd be like, I'd have a hat, but the top is cut out. Like I have a can of beans.
I'd be wearing a barrel.
Yeah, I'm wearing a barrel with a strap. I'm naked underneath.
I'm like, oh, I don't have any. I'm doing all this crime, but I'm really bad at it.
Yeah.
I don't have any money.
Do you know why pimps do wear like diamonds and chains and stuff?
I heard this is because cops steal. Cops can legal. There's a lot of laws where cops. It's not even stealing. It is stealing, but they could legally take whatever cash is on you.
Yeah, and they keep it.
And keep it. And it's like technically, it's like you ever see like the cops who they'll have the Lamborghini and they're like, yeah, we got it from a drug raid.
when you go to the fucking whatever
the drug dealer's
auctions,
house.
yeah,
And they just could take whatever, but they can't take jewelry because of something. So that then the pimps would use the jewelry.
yeah.
for,
So
like, bail
you
bonds.
invest it in the jewelry, and then so it's basically you're wearing your savings account on your person. You get arrested or whatever,
That's
and
what
then
they-
when you get out, they have to give you your items back legally, and so you get all your items back, and you still have your money.
That's what they say.
That's what they say. It's real though. It is true. That is a real thing. They have to give you all items that were on your person because they're accessories or whatever. They're not like, cash is a different thing.
What if I just had a bunch of coins? Do you think the
Do
cops
you just
would steal
carry a
that?
bag of coins around like
Yeah.
a fucking like a loot goblin in
Like,
Diablo?
Exactly. The cops would be like,
Fuck, they got to count all these pennies.
they're like, not worth it.
Dude, you drive around on like a forklift with pennies, and that's all they arrest you. They're like, God, how are we gonna fucking get these pennies back? You're like, well, I know a guy. Have you ever seen someone get mad and then pay they pay the
Yes.
fine in pennies?
I love those guys. Those
It's
freedom fighters.
so
I
funny.
salute my libertarian brethren
To make
holding up government officials.
Dude, it would be cool if they
Dude.
didn't just punish the regular people. That's the thing about
What are
the
you talking
government.
about? If you have a government job and some guy's like, "Hey, I'm paid," it's like, "Hey, my hands are tied. I'm gonna." They're angry because they're mooching off the teat of government, sitting in an office 8 hours a day doing nothing, and then the one guy who walks in. Every person at the DMV does the least amount of work possible. And so everyone in government work gets angry that you're making them work. Why don't homeless people go get jobs for the government?
Dude, the government won't let them. The government wouldn't let me work for them.
Because they're too up to stuff. They're too
The government.
ambitious.
Yeah, dude,
Homeless people are like, hey, I could make this run more efficiently, and they're like, nah. You got to just sit in that chair.
We need a lady who's completely given up on and is more concerned with getting new nails every 3 days.
But so, I love those videos of people dumping a bunch of pennies out. It's legal tender. I love all the videos of the people with the cameras going into courtrooms, just making a video harassing police officers in courthouses.
I do think sovereign citizens are funny. When a cop
Well, that's different.
my thing is when a cop
You're talking about auditors, the police auditors, or that's auditing. Sovereign citizens are when.
like when a guy's like, I know my right, and he says all this shit, and the cop doesn't say something, and he's like, penal code, whatever. This is
No. So an auditor is like, I'm within the law. You can't touch me because I'm following the laws strictly, and I know the laws more. A sovereign citizen is like, I don't recognize your laws.
Oh.
I am sovereign I'm not even a part of America. And I go back and forth where I'm like,
how do you do that? So what do you just get arrested?
You just declare sovereign citizenship. It's usually like a homeless guy out in the woods who is not bothering anyone, who, I don't know, I guess Karen calls he gets caught up in the law. And so he's been like squatting in a cabin for the past 20 years, minding his own business, living off the land. And some developer wants him kicked off or something. So they're like, hey, you're trespassing on this land. And he's like, I don't recognize your...
That's my greatest fantasy.
Is to be a sovereign citizen.
Is to live out in the woods and a developer wants the land so that I can go to war with them. That's the most righteous cause you can have.
So,
if
yes.
you are a shepherd of the land and you're not like destroying it and the ecosystem is existing around you, and then someone comes and they want to bulldoze it honestly, I guess my greatest dream is to live in the movie Avatar. I don't know. It's kind of the plot of Avatar or Ferdinand Gully, but still, dude, yeah, man.
Yeah, so sovereign citizens are, and they usually get pulled into court, and then the judges are like, hey, you're being charged for this, and this. Do you understand? And they're like, no, I don't understand. I don't recognize your law. I don't recognize America. I don't recognize your authority over me. I want to be left alone. And the judge is like, okay, but you understand what we're charging you with. And they're like, no, I don't. And it just goes back and forth. And I'm like, that guy's so cool.
Oh,
to
that
just
is
be
fun.
so autistic for the land, and to be like, I don't want to be, leave me alone. I don't want to be a part of it. And to have the bureaucratic like nightmare machine being like, we have rules. And then I'm like, nah, I want to go home.
Who's the guy that declared his own country on his property?
There's a few. There's
in Arizona, and he like technically did it, like he got away with it because he was so far away and like whatever. And then he had his own legal tender, and then like the exchange rate for his paper money was like 500,000 of his dollars per one of our cents or something crazy. So he like couldn't physically print. It was just really funny. I was reading about it, like, damn, this guy is fucking doing it,
like
printing his own money,
like Peter Topia.
Yeah, dude.
Is it Peter Topia?
I don't know.
Pretoria.
Yeah, dude. He's got Shroot bucks or whatever.
So you like the sovereign citizen?
I just like when people harass the police and the police are like exhausted emotionally by it. I think it's really funny. I'm thinking of guys who get pulled over and they're just like incredibly combative, but in a respectful and like logical way, to the point where the cop is just like, sir, please, and then like they just leave because they're just like getting harassed so hard. Like, I know my rights according to penal code, whatever, this and that. Like, as soon as they see the cop, they go, before we begin, I need your full name and badge number. Say it into the camera. Like, you're just like, oh, dude, this guy fucking sucks, and you got to deal with him now. Good luck, you fucko.
I would love to have enough money and time to do that. I have the time.
You have the time.
I don't have the money.
Don't have the money. Also, the consequences if it goes wrong, because it can go wrong, would be pretty drastic for you.
Because if I had,
and for me, I would have to learn how to post the podcast again.
Because you need the money to be like, oh, here's my lawyer if they want to escalate it. And I think a cop would know that I'm like, oh, this guy, we could throw him in the drunk tank for 48 hours. It would really ruin his weekend. And it'd be such a slog for me to do damage to them, like legally, where it feels just like cool lawyers have like guys who are like, hey, go film the police I need a cool lawyer who will represent me, and I'll go take a camera and just be like, nah, I'm within my rights. Dude, I love auditors. We should audit. We should start auditing. We should have an audit podcast.
We should have a secret police that monitors the police, not internal affairs, which is in the police union and a part of the police and often aids and abets them. We should have a separate group of people who are even above, so they can't do anything to citizens. They're only above police officers.
This is some weird Russian historical thing you're gonna say happened?
Maybe.
Okay.
That's what the KGB is.
Yeah, but the KGB, they can mess with normal citizens, right?
I don't know. I don't know how it all worked.
That's the problem with secret police. You don't know what they're up to.
No, it's true. Secret police.
So
right. I was reading about Napoleon's secret police and all the shit. Most of the stuff they did was like really boring. I was like, oh, they didn't even really kill anybody. They just talked to people a lot.
Yeah, like an auditor.
Like an auditor. No, that's really what they did. They would audit people. Dude, it's really funny. Yeah, they basically would, like, Napoleon hated lawyers. Like at one point, so the fucking when he did the coup and he took over, France had this thing where they had 5 presidents called the Directory. Right. So you would vote for 5 presidents. Like they would have an election and you would vote for all 5 people, which is fucking wild. So like 30 people would be running for election and the top 5 win.
Okay, I've seen videos explain how this works. It's like, here's my first choice, here's my third, here's the fourth, and then it'd be like weighted votes.
Yeah. So they have 5 presidents at once, and because
they're not from all the same party, right?
No,
they're from different parties.
No parties. They straight tell you what they're up to, and you elect them. There's only one party, because if you're not in that party, you get killed.
Okay.
Because the other party's royalists. They had royalists and they had Republicans. So, or left and right, I guess. So it doesn't matter. So they have 5 of those guys. Anyway, these guys are all rich and they're fucking corrupt and shitty. And then they have like a Senate, like a body of like 500, like ours. And they're useless, just like ours, and shitty. So Napoleon's like, I'm going to take over. Fuck all these people. So he ends up like having a plot where he goes to take over, and he does it. But like at the very end, they need the Senate is going to vote to make Napoleon the president or not. And they're going to vote against him. So he's like, I need to abolish the Senate before they take that vote. And when he goes in to do it, he brings the army with him and like holds them at gunpoint, basically.
Okay.
But one guy famously came in and like drew his sword, and he said, fuck you lawyers, you are disbanded. And like, it was just really cool to be like, fuck you lawyers. Like, he hated lawyers.
Did he get in legal trouble for that?
No.
They
No.
didn't January 6th him?
They did not. Oh, no. They tried to January 6th him and he killed them.
Dude, you know what?
They tried to January 6th. You know, Napoleon
Dude,
only is famous because when France had its version of January 6th, they were like, someone has to stop them. We're scared. Let's put up barricades. And like the police were trying to push them back. And Napoleon was like, fucking move, police. And the police moved, and he personally fired a cannon into the crowd, and the whole crowd is like, all right, that was fucked up, we're
Did
leaving.
he kill anyone?
Yes, a ton of people. It's called a whiff of grape shot.
Oh,
So basically they turned the cannon into a shotgun, and he killed like a lot of people.
So you're saying if Trump had fired a cannon, if Trump actually went balls to the walls and did not, because I think Trump was like, hey guys, take it easy. Oh, they're going in. I'm out of here. I disband this. I'm out of here. Because Trump did disavow it, I think the morning of. He's like, that's not my idea. I'm getting out of here.
Yeah, because he knew it was going to happen. He was like, oh, fuck.
But if he had ridden a cannon in, he'd still be the president.
Dude,
the real president.
If he had started, he did start the insurrection 100%.
Yeah.
If he had started the insurrection,
and then
when they showed up, he had a cannon and fired it into the crowd,
I would have followed him.
vote for him. I would have voted
But
for him.
because he bitched out, I'm like,
oh, dude,
you can't start an insurrection and then not follow through.
It's true.
That's so bitch made. Come on, fire a gun.
It's so true.
I thought you could shoot someone in the middle of 6th Avenue and everyone would vote for you.
Yeah,
Where's
yeah.
that guy?
Oh, dude, it would have been so sick. A whiff of grape shot is what he called it. Just a whiff. So cool, dude. Grape shot rocks. I want to fire a cannon in real life. That's on my bucket list. I might when we go to the Civil War reenactment.
There was some video I saw where, you know how the liberals are always just like, you shouldn't own an AR or any of these things. You shouldn't own a cannon.
Yeah.
There was some guy, I think, that was even like, average citizen, it's illegal for them to own a cannon. It's like, I looked into it. It's not.
No, you can have a cannon.
We could just buy a cannon.
Do you
and
not
fire a cannon, a black powder cannon?
Did I not show you the YouTube videos where guys have competitions?
I saw that. They were shooting. They were doing like ceremonial. No, wait. Which one did you
they
show?
have real shooting competitions where they have cannon crews that compete for accuracy and damage.
But I'm talking about. Depending on your state, it's harder to get like a fully automatic rifle or a silencer, or a short barrel rifle with a stock than it is to just buy a cannon. I could go to I think Utah is probably one of the states where I could go buy a cannon in a Walmart parking lot.
Black powder cannon.
Just like exchange cash and like tow it on my trailer home with no oversight.
Dude, imagine how sick that would be, because back in the day, cannon's really hard to get around, but you could just throw one on the back of, you could tow it with your ATV.
I'll put it on the back of my Toyota.
Dude, imagine that you're like the like I remember when I was a kid and the people would always talk about Utah seceding, and I was always like, well, I would fight for Utah.
Where are they going to go though? That's the problem, is Utah is surrounded.
Well, no, but here's the thing. Utah's surrounded, but Utah's also Afghanistan. If you go into those mountains and that desert, like I was just always imagined like soldiers in Humvees riding through to pacify, and then there's guys with black powder cannons firing cannonballs into the Humvees. Dude, it would definitely fuck a Humvee up if you hit it with a black powder. In a 12-pound cannon.
That would be sick. Sorry, I'm looking up
the famous cannons that the Civil War guys used were called Napoleons, because Napoleon loved big cannons.
Can I own a cannon in New York?
Dude, we can get a cannon, we could get like a medium one, like a 3-pounder, like a little guy.
According to this article, updated October 19th, 2022, apparently you can own a cannon in the state of New York, and it's totally legal.
How fucking sick would have that been if during BLM when they were like attacking the police station, you just had a cannon?
That would be sick.
Like you show up in a full revolutionary uniform, like back away, everybody. I'm going to fucking do this. Just fire a cannon into the police station.
According to the ATF website, I hate the ATF.
Yeah,
I know what you did at
fuck
Waco.
you,
You child murderers.
I know all the things you did.
A miniature cannon with a 20 gauge barrel and a certain other component parts in its assembled condition is not a firearm as defined in section 5848 of the Internal Revenue Code. So I want to roll up a cannon to a police thing with my camera and be like, no, technically I'm illegally owed according to this. It's not loaded. I'm not posing a threat. I just like to carry it's my security cannon. It makes me feel safe. It's a physical representation of my manifestation of my penis. So I, as a man, like to drag my cannon around everywhere. I'm legally allowed to own this and push it wherever I want.
Dude.
You're a government employee. Can you help me move my cannon to a better parking spot?
That would be
just
sick.
filming them and having the cop be like, "You can't have a cannon here,
dude." It's
What's your badge
you're
number?
loading it in front of him.
What's your badge number? I need your
Yeah,
badge
yeah,
number.
yeah.
I need you to look down the barrel of my cannon and tell me.
Can you hold this cannonball while I put this powder in the flash pan? You can't stop me. You can't stop me legally.
You don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm just
It's
loading.
crazy to be able to have a black powder cannon but not a sword.
Why can't you have a sword?
You can't have a sharpened sword in New York because it's big. It's like you have to have a certain size blade.
Oh, that's
or
that
whatever.
knife thing.
Yeah.
I told you in Washington D.C. I
You
had
can have blunted swords though.
a blunted sword.
Yeah, because when I used to do the night fighting thing, I would have to bring they gave me swords to carry on the subway once, and I was like, dude, am I gonna get her? They're like, no, as long as they're blunted, you're
I see
good.
people with swords on the subway every now and then.
Yeah, I do too.
It's one of those subway guys.
I don't know if they're sharp or not, but I mean, I just don't want to get got. I'm sure a cop would see me and be like, I gotta look at this guy's sword.
I think if you have a sword on the subway, you're fine. If you're waving a sword on the subway, that's a problem. And I'm like, oh, I hope another guy with a sword shows up. I don't want to be a guy.
Did the people with swords you saw wear trench coats?
What?
Did the people who had swords that you saw wear trench coats?
Oh, like Weeb? I have seen one guy.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've only seen like Blade from the movie Blade looking motherfuckers with swords.
A guy with
always like cut off leather gloves every time.
A guy with the Sonichu medallion. We were like,
yeah.
he couldn't hurt me if he tried.
Dude.
Yeah, he needs a sword.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Just
need
like I need a
It's gonna
cannon.
get turned on him.
Everyone, I want a cannon. What if someone shows up to my house with a cannon and I don't have a cannon? That's my right as an American.
Hey.
And if you're not going to give me that right, I'm declaring sovereign citizenship.
Dude, you know what? No, not to bring it back to Napoleon, but he said God fights on the side with the best artillery.
Did he say that?
I have to have the best artillery. Yeah, he did say that. Yeah, dude. He rocks. Dude, I want to shoot a cannon so bad. We will. I gotta figure that out. Have you seen the videos in Texas where people just have full mounted 50 cals in their trucks on the freeway and stuff now?
Cool. I did see that. I
Yeah,
didn't,
yeah.
I didn't know what that was.
It's like becoming more popular. I don't remember. Someone manufactured a bunch of them and they sold them in Texas because they're legal, and like a bunch of people bought them. They
these
weren't
real?
popular. They're
Are these-
real. They are real,
and they're just unloaded?
no, they're loaded. People, you can legally have it loaded. There's no one can stop you from doing that.
You can have an ISIS truck.
Yes, people have
Because-
real ISIS Toyotas, but no, we do Fords here in America.
I've only seen them on a Dodge.
Oh, really?
Which I'm
I saw
like-
one on a Ford F-150, and I was like, dude, that's a 4-cab F-150 with a fucking 50 cal in the back.
If I had money, I would probably, as ugly as it is, I would get the Tesla truck with the 50
And
cal.
put the 50 cal in it.
And
That's so funny.
It'd be the Warthog from Halo.
In the military, we call them technicals.
What is that?
A technical is just like a civilian vehicle that made for war. So you like, you gas lands it. You fucking, I don't remember what that movie's called. Everyone likes the Road Warrior movie.
Mad Max.
Mad Max it. But so what's happening, why we're seeing so many videos of it now is because
So if I have a motorcycle
yes.
and I zip tie a handgun to it, that's a technical?
Yes.
All right.
Well, not really, I guess. Usually technical's like a 4-wheeled
This is
vehicle.
where you go, technically.
Technically technical.
No.
But people, the reason we didn't see lots of Texans with these guns in their trucks before isn't because they weren't available to them, but people just figured out that you can use a 50 cal on a truck to hunt hogs. So
Sick.
it's like one person made a YouTube video, and then like all the guys in Texas were like, "That looks fucking awesome." So now it's like a thing. I keep seeing videos of people hog
That
hunting.
is sick.
I think it's sicker to have a 50 cal in a truck than to shoot a hog out of a helicopter.
Why not both?
Okay, you're right.
Why are
I
you?
don't because I don't have infinite resources,
yeah.
Mac.
I don't have any trucks or
Dude, you know what would be
decals or
really
cannons.
cool to hunt a hog with?
An orbital laser?
I was going to say a cannon, but yeah, that too.
Okay, I don't know. What do you, cannon? Yeah.
Dude, imagine firing a cannon into a hog. It'd be fucking crazy.
They're invasive species.
They're an incredibly invasive species. They're also they're a legacy of racism in the country. We released wild hogs to destroy Native Americans' crops to make them easier to kill.
Did it
So
work?
a strategy the Spanish use in Europe and stuff too.
Wait, okay.
It does work, yes. They used it again. We've used it. It's not just a thing that happened in America. It's
Everyone
a thing
used
that
it.
happens all over the world.
Everyone
yeah.
uses it against everyone.
People have been using invasive species to try and kill other people since before Rome.
But then the species is still around. So it's
Well,
like,
that's the thing is it is like you just deal with it, I guess. You feel like this is the Simpsons thing where they're like, we'll figure it out after we win. And so now we're dealing with the consequences of Spanish conquistadors.
oh, don't
in
put this
Florida.
on me.
Yeah, no, I am putting it on you.
No.
Floridian Spanish conquistadors trying to use hogs to
Spaniards and Aztec are the most peaceful.
kill. What?
We're the most peaceful race. The two most peaceful races. The Native Americans.
Throw the Vikings in there too.
Native Americans and Spaniards are, I don't know, yeah.
Dude, what are the Aztecs' deal? I need to read more about them.
What are you talking about? What their deal is?
I don't know. They were just so gnarly.
Yeah.
I haven't not read very much about the actual Aztec Empire. It's like a blind spot in my history, and I will get to it, I'm sure. But I love Native American history, and I've read a ton about like northern Native Americans.
Yeah, you don't know.
And they all hated the Aztecs very specifically.
Yeah, think about they're down there killing virgins for,
Yeah.
for better weather.
Good virgins.
For they're like, hey, what was it for? Wasn't it? It was just like for rain and weather, right?
No, to please their gods. I think their gods needed human sacrifices. A lot of it was for farming, I'm sure.
Yeah, for weather. For
Yeah,
good-
you're right. I
for-
guess you're right.
We
Yeah.
want the crops to go good, so we got to kill a bunch of people.
I mean, yeah. Did it work? It's anyone's guess.
I mean, what if? No, has anyone looked into global climate change?
Whoa!
And
what if the temperature's rising because human sacrifices are decreasing?
So that was a thing right after COVID and shut down everything.
Yeah,
And for
yeah.
the very first, like for the first couple months, and people were dying and everything was shut down. The temperature did start to dip.
Yeah. They healed the environment a lot.
Oh my god,
Dude, we
The
figured it
Aztecs-
out.
the
The
Aztecs
Aztecs were
figured
right. Oh my god, we gotta
Hey.
fucking kill some people for Quetzalcoatl.
dude, there's too many people around. We gotta start. It's getting hot. Imagine how hot it was down in the equator too. Like we gotta start killing people. It's too hot.
Dude, we gotta fucking. I'm down. We'll make everyone play soccer and we'll kill the winning team.
Okay, I'm not against it.
Yeah, dude. I don't even like soccer. Whatever.
It does. I feel like you're an athlete. You got to live the best life.
It's true.
Have sex with all the supermodels.
Yep.
Be famous, millions of dollars. Let us kill you for the blood gods.
Yeah.
So we can have better weather.
Be
Come
cool
on
about it. Just be cool.
You got to live the greatest life ever. Now you won, and so just let it. You don't want to die old.
It's true. Did you ever watch the? Did you ever watch the movie?
Sorry, I'm looking at our roommate. Make sure he doesn't start a fire.
Did you ever watch the?
Sizzling in there.
It's so loud.
That's the end of the podcast.
Oh,
We got
okay.
it.
I was gonna ask you if you watched that Mel Gibson movie recently.
Apocalyptico?
Yeah,
Apocalypto?
Apocalypto.
I haven't. I need
Dude,
to.
I watched it. It's really fucking good. It's pretty tough, dude. I forgot that it's like a movie. Like it's like a man movie. It's like a tough fucking action movie. It's pretty sick. They trick him into eating a testicle or into eating penis.
Yeah, that's funny. That's a fun man prank.
Yeah, it's a fun man prank to try. Dude, did you ever go hunting and then they were like, you got to eat this part of it?
No, in Boy Scouts we had Food Factor
I remember you've talked about Food Factor before.
instead of Fear Factor because we were bored and we're like Fear Factor was the biggest show because I feel like reality TV show back then was more fun, was more game show types. Now it's just like, now we put a bunch of hot people in a room and see if they fuck. They do. Reality shows back then were like, we're gonna put a bunch of hot people on an island and make them fight, and what if they also fuck? You don't know. So it was more exciting. But Fear Factor, I remember my family would watch. They were obsessed with American Idol, Fear Factor, and what other? Oh, Survivor. They watched all. My parents and sister sat down and had to watch every episode right when they came out. And then like season 2 and 3 rolled around, they got bored really quickly.
Yeah,
Survivor was their favorite. But so we're at Boy Scout camp and we're trying to do Fear Factor stuff. You know, like when you see Jackass.
Yeah.
And you're like,
I got to get into a grocery cart right now.
We got to do that. We got to get a camera. So we're bored, and after all the like merit badges and stuff, and we're there for camping for a week. My dad was like, well, what if we start doing competitions? And so he started doing Food Factor, where we'd have rounds. And it would start off with like everyone would bring something gross from home. Each scout would bring like a gross thing, and then we'd go rounds. And as people got knocked out, they would have to not eat the gross thing. I remember one round we had to eat dog food, wet dog food, and that was like round 2 or 3. I can't remember. I think I threw that up a little bit. It wasn't that bad. It was like the idea of it. It just smelled. It was like wet food that was kind of like. It's snotty. It's like snotty meat. The texture is bad, but like it didn't taste bad. Yeah. But the texture made me throw up and seeing other scouts throw up.
Yeah. That'll get you when the other guys are puking. It makes you puke.
And then after that, I remember it was like round 3 or 4. One scout, and this was the kid who won every year. His name was also Shayne.
We had a guy that won all of the food stuff we did too. He was unstoppable.
This is how it started. I just remembered. It was only, I think we only did it for like 2 or 3 years. It started because my dad, there was like a small, someone caught a frog, like a small tiny frog, the size of like a quarter, or like a $50, so like a little tiny frog. And my dad was like, "I'll give you a candy bar if you eat that." And see, I don't know. The kid was like, "Okay," and he ate it, and we had it on film. And this is like we had one of the first like digital cameras, so the video was like on a 320 by 240p, just like 12 frames a second, like blurry thing, and the audio was good. And so it's just this kid, you can't even see it, putting something up to his mouth, but then all the audio is all of us screaming. That he ate a frog, and he was like, "Oh, I can feel the bones in my teeth." And he was like, but he's like, opens his mouth and he ate it. And my dad gave him a Snickers bar. He did that for a Snickers bar. So next year, then we started Food Factor. And I think it got to the point where that kid who ate the frog the year before brought in some weird like bean jar. It looked bad, but also it didn't. It was like mushy beans. We're like, what is that? It had just been sitting in the back of his fridge for as long as he can remember. So he ate that, and another kid ate that. There's like probably 8 or 12 of us that all got knocked out. They got to the final 2 where my dad was like, I can't, there's nothing else. You guys are disgusting. And he bought both of them Leatherman waves.
Whoa.
For beating everyone at Food Factor.
That's awesome.
And so
it's so funny to be your dad just like, hey, this is too fucked up now. Hey, you guys are fucked up.
I also think he was like, he made him eat a Snickers. He made me eat a frog for a Snickers bar. I gotta get it back for that.
Yeah.
So it made the prize so much better, but they tied, so we just bought 2 kids.
That's cool.
Well, for anyone who doesn't know a Leatherman wave, it's like $120 Leatherman.
It's really, if you're a Boy Scout, that's like crazy how sick that would be.
My dad had one, and he has it. I think he's had the same one for like 25 years. Yeah. It's one of the best pocket knives you could ever buy. So he bought both of them then. And then I think the 3rd year, my dad got kicked out of being the Scoutmaster because the dad of the kid, the cool kid who would eat anything, saw the video. And I think he was cool with it, but I think his mom was not cool with it, was the story.
Oh, okay.
So she made him...
that does make sense.
She made him get mad at my dad, and my dad was like, "What?" And so they like had people look into it, and my dad was like... They were like, "Did you make these kids?" Like, "No, we were doing a competition. I didn't force anyone to do anything." He's like, "Well, we can't have this." And we're like, "All right." And so they removed him from the Scoutmaster.
Damn.
It was really cool. I didn't get a Leatherman wave. I was like, damn it. I've disappointed my father by not eating gross things. Oh, a great shame.
All right, everyone. Speaking of gross things, you can sub to us on patreon.com/cowboyboys.
Yeah, that's where the first 3 minutes of this podcast, that's the whole 60 minutes of the Patreon.
Yeah, dude.
Shayne
This is the first
saying-
round is like old crackers. The Patreon is wet dog food. So get in there.
I don't remember any of the other weird things.
You can also buy things at cowboyboys.store.
Mm-hmm.
And shirts, hats, stickers, whatever you want. Go crazy. That's it. I have dates. Oh, I should say my dates. I'm going to be in Richmond.
You're touring.
Yeah. I'll be in...
Not only are you opening for Jay Leno, you're headlining for yourself.
Yeah. I'm headlining for myself, which is crazy. I'm so lucky to get to headline for myself. I let myself do it. It's Richmond, Virginia. I'll be in Austin. I'll be in Phoenix, Arizona, Batavia, Illinois. I'm going to be in Nashville at some point. I'm going to be in the UK. I'm going to be in other places. ShayneSmithComedy.com. Go check it out. I'm on tour. The shows have been so amazing. And by the way, if you saw me this week and you listen to the podcast, thank you so much. You were great. A bunch of people told me they listen to the podcast, and I was like, I'll say hi to Mac for you.
Nice.
Yeah, so
Hello,
that's me
people.
doing that now. Yeah.
Also, if you're still listening and you haven't, give us, rate and review us on whatever you're listening to.
Oh, yeah, that's a thing. I have never checked those.
I check them every couple of months.
How many do we have?
It's dramatically fallen off, which is I'm like, hey, go do that right now. Go review us on iTunes. Give us 5 stars
I
on
think
Spotify.
a huge part of it falling off is that people don't use the Apple Podcast app anymore.
Yes, that, and then subscribe to us on YouTube. Subscribe to us and then mute us or whatever. I don't know. Don't do. Give us a thumbs up.
Just
interact with our
comment,
shit.
and leave a comment.
Go to your girlfriend's YouTube account. Go to your parents' YouTube account and subscribe to us on there. They'll never click on us.
It's true.
We need that little number to go up higher. Makes me feel good. I feel like my subscriber count is how I determine how big my penis is.
Oh,
and I don't have a cannon to represent that, so
it's tough.
I have such a small follower count. Did you start a fire? Nope. Oh, we're good. We're good in there.
All right, everyone. Love you. Yeehaw.
Yeehaw.